All right, so now, does anyone need an executive session for 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, 6-5, 6-6, 6-7, 6-8, 6-9, 6-10, 11, 12, 13, 14, or 15? Yes, so do we need an executive session for any of those specifically? We sure? Good?
Yep.
All right, then we will move along to 6.1, reorganization. And we have that.
And you should all have a packet that was in there that includes, some of them are,
Coordination.
I added that in consent, yes? Yes? Yep.
Okay.
Did you want to pull that back?
There's only five. There's 5 consent items.
No, all the way down to the action items. Do you want me to pull it?
No.
Okay.
No. I just hate these 2 agendas sometimes.
I don't even look at what you write. I only go off the light yellow one.
That's all, no.
Okay. All right, so reorganization.
and you have that in your packet, there's several different things. Some of them are structural as far as who reports to different people, different departments. Some of them have where it's even been from different divisions, where some positions were reporting in academic affair or student affairs and moved into academic affairs. So I think there's some explanation. I fielded some questions. I know some people asked me some questions today that I've been able to answer. I don't know if there's any other questions.
The only one I had was, and I didn't think it was they need to go into exec, that I know you said because of you may not be able to attend some events that you were gonna have you had an alternate person that would go, and I didn't think that it made, I didn't know why it would not be, your designee wouldn't be a VP of Community Economic Development.
It's all of the above, actually. I mean, they all do a variety of things. This is just adding one extra person. But the most of this was the fact that the FOIA officer responsibilities, emergency alert responsibilities, but then having the title change was more to reflect what we want is public relations, as opposed to, the current title.
So I think it's more like it's going to be all the VPs and that person, right?
Correct.
It's like adding that person into that spot. Anybody else? Okay, I am going to read a more detailed motion. So if anyone's going to second, please make sure that you're seconding with what I'm saying. All right, so I'm looking for a motion. The Board of Trustees accepts the reorganization plans recommended and presented by the President and approves the compensation changes recommended and presented by the President, which will be reflected in the new organization chart and administrative contracts effective June 1st, 2014. So all I did was take more out of the rationale instead of just a one-line motion. So does anyone want to make that motion?
So moved.
I'll second. Discussion.
I did call Terry this morning to talk about this, and I will express my opinion. I just think that a 10% raise across the board for all these people is just way too much, especially in light of it. Some people seem to be have taken more on, and some not quite as much as other people, and 10% just seemed like a lot, and especially in light of we're raising tuition for students. We raised the tuition, last month, and then now we say, well, we're going to start paying everybody 10% more. I am not at all opposed to people getting more money at all. I guess I'm opposed that everybody gets 10%.
And then I asked the same thing, Kathleen, because of the tuition raise, and my understanding is none of the monies are new to the budget, and even if we didn't give them a 10% raise, we could use that money to put towards lessening the tuition. Am I correct?
Yes, it is.
So,
But we could put that money towards something else, right? We could
That-
reallocate it.
That particular money is set aside just for these purposes for increases in salary,
Salaries.
promotions, and things like that.
right, and we couldn't use it for a new computer lab.
No,
We couldn't use it for anything really towards the students. This is in the budget specifically for this purpose. And there's not a single new dollar that we're coming up with to be put in here.
that's correct, there's no new dollars.
There's not,
Well, you know, the president can make her reorgs as she sees fit, but I'm also, I won't support the financial increases because I think over the past 3 years, I mean, we have given raises, significant increases to employees and administration, and I'd rather see money go to hourly workers, and even this pathetic 3% that's in another action item, I think it is a slap in the face for those folks who make peanuts and continue to give our administration increases, even if justifiable that they are taking on more responsibility. But I'm sure that those folks on the front lines are taking on unreasonable responsibilities and requests as well.
But that's
We're
a
not.
different budget too.
Well, but I'd like to see us, if we're gonna do something, make a commitment to the hourly people.
we have actually, and actually support staff, there's several support staff that have also gotten, because we follow the same framework, if you will, that support staff follows. And there's multiple people, what it is you don't see when the support staff wins come here, because that's by their union contract, and it doesn't require board approval. So I'm looking at Sue, I don't know if you have the number or know the number, I don't. If I would have known that you want, I would have been happy to gather that for you.
So Sue, people have gotten 10%. Has anybody got 10 this year?
I don't know about this year,
Yeah.
but, yeah,
Sure.
oh, okay.
I mean, there's, I could, yeah, two in that area.
Well, two in that area,
Oh, one in IT, okay, I mean, there are many, what happens is, yeah, I should be looking at David, he maybe knows.
yeah,
There's many of them, what happens is, if
You
a
don't see
person's
it.
job, it goes by the decision band method, and if a person's job changes and they take on additional responsibility, then it goes in there, and then they get, and sometimes it's a 5%, sometimes it's a 10% increase, and it depends on what those, it's decision band method, that's how it is, the type of responsibility that it is, and the type of, what it requires, and that's the framework we use to follow, and we use the same one. The difference is, you don't see it when it's support staff.
Because it doesn't come in
Because
front
it
of us.
doesn't come in front of you, you only see it, and maybe it was a mistake for me to wait and bring these all at once, but it really was a year of transition, a year of watching things, and those that had asked, I explained, is that some of these people took on this responsibility a year ago, or a lot of them in January, and it was sort of like a transition, and let's see how this works. As an example, I'm gonna use David Cronin, because I'm looking at him. He took on a lot of additional responsibility, and so he's taken that on for a long period of time. And so there was some compensation that was a stipend, we're just asking to make this, that it's part of his salary.
It just doesn't look good. I mean, we go for raise tuition and then.
But this money can't go towards
But
this.
I'm just saying, it just
Yeah.
doesn't look good. I mean, to go for raising tuition, what we do.
And I understand, I agree, I understand.
$300,000 in expenditure last month, and now we're going to give increases to our administration. It just doesn't look good.
And when some people have retired or left and they're paid a higher salary, it's a savings that we have and that we've reallocated and moved those around.
But then it's not a savings, because we're spending it, so,
Not,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I do have a question. I mean, we allocate these dollars for, staff and personnel. You don't expend all of these at the end of the year. Let's just say that ever happens.
yeah, goes into reserve.
Yes,
Okay, it goes into reserve for what?
for for a rainy day, I mean, many colleges have that.
Okay, so in essence, we don't have to spend this on salaries. This is not, I mean, it can go to a rainy day or a
At
reserve,
the end of the year, if
which
it's not expended.
we have been told, I believe a couple months ago, that we really have spent through our reserve.
Well, we didn't really have one, comparatively.
Okay. I mean, we were told we did, and I'm not
We
saying.
do, it's just not as much as
Yeah.
Tom's new here, and he looks at some of the other colleges and he would like to
Yeah.
have what they have.
And it isn't as much, no. I mean, we were told before that we had a nice reserve and now we've gone through it, but now we're continuing to go through it.
Also, Trustee Doyle, one of these initiatives is designed to focus on creating a new initiative. We did that presentation on the retention and the freshman year alert system, and the desire to create this freshman year initiative to home in on that particular population of incoming freshmen, to make sure we have a program that works for that particular population from start to finish. So this particular program is one that's going to watch those students as soon as they walk through the doors, and that should increase the attrition of
And
the success of those
yeah.
students.
I mean, I think that that's a great initiative, and it's just, I'm just against the 10% across the whole board for everybody, and depending on, it didn't make any difference.
But what do you mean for everybody? It's just,
I mean, everybody who's listed on this.
there's 3 people. And I mean, would it have done better if it was 7, 8, 9? I mean, this all came off of that whole big study that we paid a ridiculous amount of money for, right?
Yeah, the box loss, I mean, that's the framework. We asked to have someone create the framework for us to follow, and those are the guidelines we're trying to follow.
Okay.
There's 7 people.
Oh, down here?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So 7, you're right.
I mean, I just, just voicing my opinion.
Anybody else?
Well, if someone doesn't take on these additional responsibilities, then you hire somebody to take their place and then the money just goes there. So either way, someone's gotta do the work and these people are taking on more responsibility.
But is everybody taking on the exact same amount of responsibility? You know, because Terry said, you know, in some cases they've given 5% raise, some 10% raise. And so and maybe it's just the descriptions just weren't enough to warrant that a 10% raise. I don't know, I'm uncomfortable with it. Given
The
it to
larger background, which I sent, told you that I had additional information, more lengthy, I
Yeah.
didn't have that.
Did you want to take a look at that? Would that help? What's up?
Just as a point of clarification between the 5 and the 10%, as it's laid out in the contracts that we have with the unions, a 5% increase is given to a person. It's not a matter of how much work that they're doing, it's a matter of whether it's judged that they're working beyond the decision band that they're actually classified in. So that by contract, the 5% goes to people that are already doing things like
above
that.
and beyond.
Above and beyond.
Okay.
But if it is characterized as a promotion where it's not something that's happened kind of happenstance, but it is determined that that's something that the person is qualified for as a step up on the career ladder, that's when the 10% goes into place. So the 5% comes in only when over time responsibilities are added that are smaller in nature, that kind of thing. So it's not really a judgment, it's really about automatic by how it happens.
Okay.
If it's done in retrospect, then it's a 5%. If it's done looking forward, then it's a 10%.
So the
And
10
that's-
is not just a random number,
It's not a
that's what
random
I came
number,
up
no,
with.
it's laid out in the contract, and the 10% is laid out in board policy as well for managers and
Oh,
administrators.
so no matter how this was put together, all of them would say 10. All of
That's-
them would either say 5 or all of them would say 10.
That's where 10 comes from, right?
But so did you just, maybe I misunderstood, I thought you said that 10% also included if there was a change in title?
It doesn't necessarily
It
mean a
doesn't
change in
okay.
title, no, it's a change in responsibilities.
Change in responsibilities,
Right.
okay. Okay,
I have a question.
Sure.
From what I'm reading, for the most part, they're already getting the 10%, and this is just making it a permanent part of the salary?
Yeah, they already started doing,
It's after 10 days, depending on how it falls, I mean, they do get, you're asking, people are doing additional things.
so that explains why everybody's getting the 10 across the board. Okay. What other concerns could we address? None?
No.
Okay. Wendell, you good? Yeah?
Okay.
Madam Secretary. Wait, I'm sorry. Did I? Did a motion? I did, yes, I did.
Oh, you seconded
I
it.
seconded, yeah, okay. And we did discussion, so Madam Secretary.
Trustee Doyle,
Nay.
trustee Mosby,
Nay.
trustee Wiley, trustee Johnson,
Aye.
and I say aye.
And I say aye.